So here it is, guys. Here's my 68 F100 Bumpside. I built this thing back in 2016. Always wanted to do some upgrades to it ever since. At the time I had a full-on business, so I didn't have a lot of, or didn't have much time at all. I didn't have a lot of money either, which sort of, you know, definitely determines how you build things, that's for sure. So there's quite a few things on it that I'd like to fix, and now I've got the time. I've built quite a few cars since then. That was like 8 years ago. So as you do, your skill level improves. There's a lot of things that I know I could do better now than what I did back in the day when I built this. So yeah, I thought I might as well get stuck into it and yeah, give it the makeover that it deserves. One of the first things I'd like to address is the notch I've got here in the chassis. At the time used a bolt-in notch, and that's been welded in. So as a result, the diff doesn't have a lot of travel there. It's sitting up a bit now because there's no bed on it, but as you can see, it's only got like 1.5 inches, 2 inches travel at best, and when you go over a large bump you can definitely hear it bottom out. The top of the diff there has been bottoming out on the floor of the bed as well. Tail shaft's been hitting on that cross member. Aside from that, it's been going pretty good. Doesn't sound very good, but it only happens occasionally, but it's enough to bug you, and haven't been able to. I really like getting the stance level on these. As you can see at the moment, it's got almost like a good 3 inches of rake. Then when the bed goes down, like 2.5 inches. So yeah, just want to get it sitting dead level, get it as low as possible with a static drop. And over here we've got the bed. It's the first time that's been removed since 2016, so that came off relatively easily. The bolts even came undone, they weren't rusted up, which was surprising. So inside the bed here, going to raise the floor to accommodate the drop that I'm doing. So I'll cut the floor out, plasma cut that out, then remove the wheel arches, move them up and extend them a little bit wider. So at this stage, I'm running 20 by 10s in the rear, 20 by 9.5 technically, but just call them 20 by 10s. So I'd like to run some 20 by 12s in the back. And yeah, they obviously have to move inboard, so I'll get the diff shortened as well at the same time. So anything wider than say a 275, you can probably fit a 295 in there with a standard width wheel arches, but yeah, you end up by scraping. So yeah, it's fairly simple to extend them, widen them, and that should do the job. And I've also got a rear mounted fuel tank to go in here. Had that for quite a while, so at the moment it's running the in-cab fuel tank, which isn't ideal obviously. So yeah, we'll replace that at the same time. What else? Probably in order to get it a little bit lower, I think I'm going to leave these leaf springs in here. They ride really nicely, so I can flip this front mount here, flip that up the other way, and that'll give me roughly 2 inches of drop. And then I'm going to shave the fuel filler, which is on the passenger side, or if you're in the US, that's on the driver's side. And reason being, if you are in the US, this might look a little bit weird, but the steering wheel is on the right hand side here. This is I believe anyway, built for the Canadian market. Then we receive them here in Australia as well, because we're obviously right hand drive over here. So this was purchased new in Australia as a right hand drive. From what I can gather, the difference is this panel below here on the US models, it's mirrored, but it's sort of after it goes past the dash, it kind of comes up a little bit and goes along, whereas the Aussie Canadian ones, that's just a straight line all the way along. Apart from that, it's pretty much a mirror finished dash, I think. Well, that about wraps up this episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll have updates as I go along. Probably the first step is to start modifying the chassis. That's probably probably the first port of call. Put it back up on the hoist, remove the brake lines to the rear, take the diff out, just get rid of everything off there, and yeah, just make a clean start with it. No worries guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will update you all soon. Have a good one. Cheers.